Hey there, welcome back to another review. This time it is most definitely a rant on one of the worst films that I've seen from 2017. A film that was 1,000 times worse than I thought it was going to be. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I heard all these good things about it, saw all these good reviews saying it's not that bad, it's one of the biggest surprises of the year, it's fun, it's innovative, it's entertaining, it's a nice homage to the original, or it's a nice successor to the first film. And I didn't see any of that in this movie. If you saw that, that's fine. If you like the film, different strokes for different folks, I have no issue with that. But I don't get it. I do not understand why this film has gotten the pass from critics. It's gotten positive buzz. It's won the box office 3 weeks in a row. It's made almost $400 million in the box office. I don't understand why this is a hit critically and financially, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Did they see a different movie than I did? Because the film that I saw is a creatively bankrupt, inept, pathetic, atrocious comedy, action adventure, and video game movie, and a piss poor sequel to Jumanji. I don't. It's baffling to me how this is a film that is getting a pass by critics. And films like Bright are getting savaged and ravaged and getting shit on and called like one of the worst films of the year. But this movie is getting praise? I, Honestly, it leaves me kind of speechless. That's just me. That's just my opinion. So if you like the film, I gotta say, uh, maybe you might want to click off because I'm about to stick a machete up this movie's ass. So, but if you didn't like it, then sit back and enjoy because I think you're gonna like this. Now, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, which I like to call Jumanji Welcome to the Bungle because it bungles everything it possibly can, or Jumanji Welcome to the Bunghole because this movie is a giant ass that was shitting in my face for about 2 hours. It was really an excruciating experience. I'm not kidding, because this film was just incredibly dull, boring, uninteresting, unexciting, not even remotely close to being funny. I didn't laugh one time throughout this entire movie. And this is supposed to be a comedy. And in terms of the action, there wasn't a single action sequence that I thought was average. There was one little bit of fisticuffs with the Rock that I thought was below average. That was at times, but was ruined by, once again, shitty writing. This film is just a giant pile of hippo shit. You know that scene in Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum was like, "That's one big pile of shit." Might as well put this movie's title on that pile of shit. So it's directed by Jake Kasdan, who is the son of Lawrence Kasdan, who's written a lot of great films and worked on a lot of great movies. His direction, it's kind of the least of the film's problems, but it's not like it's amazing. It's not like it's really anything worth noting. It's just a okay job. I mean, it's not terrible. I don't blame him for this film's problems. I don't blame him for this film's issues. Honestly, I blame the four writers. And I cannot even believe for the life of me that four people wrote this. That this is a film that needed four writers. Or it's a movie that had four writers and they still managed to fail spectacularly. All four of them. It's stunning. You would think with more writers, you'd have a better result. But that's not the case here. You have generic cliche characters, which, if they had personalities and they were likable, then I could look past that. But they don't. They don't have personalities. They're not likable, so I don't give a fuck about them. So when they get sucked into the video game, it's a whole lot of anticlimax. It's just one anticlimax after another because it's like, oh, I don't really care. Oh, they're in danger. Don't really give a shit. And then some of the behavior they do is pretty shitty, so it makes me give even less of a shit about them. And then it doesn't help either that when they become their video game avatars, they're even more annoying. So that's not helpful at all. I'm just waiting for the bad guys in the game to kill them all and pop up a game over screen on the movie screen, just like, oh, our heroes have failed. Game over. Good. They suck. So you have four writers. You have Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, Scott Rosenberg, and Jeff Pinker. Jeff Pinkner. I wish it was Jeff Pinker. I wish it was related to Horace Pinker. Then maybe, his dad would kick his son's ass and write a better script. It's based on a story by Chris McKenna, and I swear this film plays out like it was a old script from like the 90s or early 2000s for a Pitfall movie that was dusted off and then had like three writers come in and just throw some shit in there and see what works and see what sticks. Because it does not even remotely feel like a Jumanji movie. It's a Jumanji movie and a Jumanji sequel in name only. This is as close to a reboot or remake as you're gonna get when it comes to a Jumanji film, because the only connection this has to the first movie is, oh, you see the board game in the beginning, and then it turns into a video game, and then there's an Alan was here, kind of message that would, not kind of, an Alan was here message scrawled into some tree. That's it. None of the characters in the first movie make cameos. Nobody makes any kind of a return here. It's really is a sequel in name only. So the script, though, is easily the worst thing about this film because it's an action adventure, and it's a comedy, and it's a video game movie, and none of these elements are at all used to their full fruition. None of them are. I mean, I've heard critics say it plays around with video game tropes and does some really creative, fun stuff with it, and I'm like, what? What did it do that was really fun and creative and interesting and inventive when it comes to the video game tropes? You had an NPC who just acted like a normal NPC. You had stupid weaknesses like fucking cake, which I've never seen a game in my life. I haven't played that many games, but out of all the games I played, I've never played a game where somebody's weakness was cake. That's just stupid. That's not even inventive or creative. It's different, but that doesn't mean it's a good idea. That's just beyond moronic. Oh, and they die and then they respawn right on top of each other, so it's just one pratfall after another that makes you want to slam your head into a wall. Yeah, that's unique and hilarious and great way to twist the video game tropes. What, dance fighting? She dance fights like it's a Dance Dance Revolution in the jungle. That's so hilarious. I don't. It's really, it leaves me speechless. I can't. My brain cannot comprehend this reasoning. It's like does not compute. System error. So yeah, the video game elements are really poorly handled in my opinion. It's just pretty much very half-assed because they're in a video game world and there's all these different things they can do, and they're just like, oh, take this jewel back to a giant stone mountain that looks like a lion and you'll win the game. Oh, you have to, defeat these generic enemies along the way, which would be all right. But the thing is, these generic enemies, they don't fit the world of Jumanji. They're just a bunch of guys riding around in motorcycles. What are these, the fashion models from the Captain America movie from 1990? Or is this the fucking Megaforce? Are the G.I. Joes going to come in? Is the Street Fighter team going to show up with Jean-Claude Van Damme and fight Guile? alongside these fucking motorcycle guys. Like, why are there people with motorcycles with rocket launchers? Where the hell is the Delta Force when you need them to blow these fuckers off the fucking planet or out of the video game? I mean, and it's not like they do that much with these guys. There's like a fight scene the Rock had, the Rock's video game character has with a couple of them, and that's really kind of about it. Karen Gillian kicks a bunch of their asses in one scene near the end in a cringe-inducing dance fight scene, and then there's some slow-mo fights that she has. I think she kicks one off a motorcycle off the bike in slow motion, like she's Wonder Woman or Alice from the Resident Evil franchise. And then the villain is just some guy who wears mascara and apparently is a Van Pelt. Went by my head, and I think that's pretty insulting to make him a Van Pelt. I mean, compared to Van Pelt's in the first movie, this guy's nothing. This guy looks like he's wearing mascara. He looks like he's wearing eyeliner. It's Maybelline Man. He's not a Van Pelt. He's a guy I want to pelt across the face. Get him out of the movie. Oh, wait, I don't even have to do that because he might as well just be fucking air because he's nothing. He's nothing. This is a nothing villain. So, I don't remember. There's no bosses or anything. There's no mini bosses. This would be like one of the lamest games that any kid would play in 1996 if this is actually what the game was like. You're playing these characters. You just fumble around the jungle. You fumble around the jungle for a little bit. You encounter some people on motorcycles with rocket launchers. You dispatch them really easily. You're trying to stay one step ahead of this Maybe It's Maybelline Man. And then you're easily able to get past all that with the help of an elephant who helps one of your characters out. And then you just take the gem and you put it in the stone and then you win. Like, what the hell? I think I've played Tiger Electronic handheld games that had more enemies and more variety to them. I mean, that's fucking pathetic. When a Tiger Electronic handheld game has more of a progression and has more enemy types than your fucking movie does that's based on a video game or supposed to be based around a video game in a video game world, in a video game setting. So yeah, the video game aspect, they half-assed that. It's totally uninspired. I personally feel it's as creatively bankrupt as you can get. And then, that isn't bad enough. You got the action-adventure aspect, and it's not thrilling. It's not exciting. It's not fun. Kong, Skull Island. That's a fun action-adventure movie that came out this year. Kong Skull Island wipes its ass with Jumanji Welcome to the Bunghole. Okay? There are plenty of other action-adventure movies that were low-budget films that are more entertaining than this. King Solomon's Mines, Alan Quatermain and Lost City of Gold. Yes, they're both films that are unapologetic Indiana Jones ripoffs, but they're better than this because they're more entertaining. Or Congo, which is a film that got shit on by critics and got nothing but a lot of bad buzz, and that film is much better than that. Much better than this movie. It's got better characters. It's got better action. It's got a better plot. Plus, it's got Tim Curry, and it's got that great scene. Stop eating my sesame cake! Which is funnier than anything in this movie. I'm almost wanted to be yelling at the movie and be like, stop wasting my fucking time with your bullshit, Jumanji Welcome to the Bunghole. Stop opening up your bunghole and spraying your shit all over my face and all over the screen. So, yeah, action-adventure, there's not that much to it. The first film was thrilling. It was a nice throwback to action-adventure movies because they ended up in the jungle, and the whole mystique of this world that Alan was in sounded genuinely terrifying. And they got rid of that because for just some really generic, forgettable video game jungle. Like I said, it's a fucking Pitfall movie. It's not a Jumanji film. The Rock might as well be playing Pitfall Harry. You could rename this movie Pitfall, and it would, and just take out the Jumanji elements, and it would not hurt the film at all. It would be just as believable. There's even a scene where they're walking across a plank over a pit of crocodiles. Just like in the game Pitfall, where you have to make sure you don't fall in the pit and get eaten by these crocodiles. I saw that scene, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, it's not even being facetious. It's not even trying to hide the fact that it's basically Pitfall, the motion picture. But anyway, going back to the action adventure element, in the first movie, you had all these different unique things. You had all these different plants and these different creatures. You had the hippos and you had the rhinoceroses and the storks and all this other stuff. But you also had new breeds of insects. You had new breeds of plants. You had new stuff that you hadn't seen before. And this doesn't do anything like that. It's a video game world, and there's no giant flying, Venus flytraps. There's no giant vines. There's no anything. There's no hybrids of different animals combined together. There's just generic, forgettable, milk toast, white bread, CGI animals, CGI hippos, CGI snakes, CGI crocodiles, CGI rhinoceroses. And that's it. It's a Jumanji sequel, and you have all these, and an elephant, a CGI elephant. That's all you have. And maybe like I think it was like a jaguar. Oh, and of course, not one, but two instances of a CGI squirrel, because our intrepid hero is afraid of squirrels. Got another film that has CGI squirrels in it. What is up with shitty films and CGI squirrels? You had Poltergeist, which is terrible and equally as awful as this in multiple different ways, but actually that had more going for it. And I have to admit that there was at least one character and a couple things about that I liked more than anything going on in this movie, and that's sad, and that's pathetic. But anyway, yeah, doesn't even do anything with it. They don't up the ante. You don't see new breeds of plants and animals. It's just the same old shit that you'd see when you go to the zoo. And then, that isn't bad enough. It's trying so hard to be funny, and none of these jokes work. Jack Black is just annoying as this teenage girl who's in the body of a fat guy. You have the typical fat guy jokes. You have a cringe-inducing scene where he has to learn how to pee, how to use his dick. And then he even gets like an erection when he looks at one guy or girl or whatever the fuck, or guy, whatever the fuck. It's one of those things that's like, really? You have a scene? This is a film that's hilarious? Got a scene where Jack Black's character has to learn how to use his own dick? Is that basically what this film is? Just dick? Did I just get dick in my face? Did I just get dick on the screen? I mean, pretty much I might as well. I just got dick. I just got dicked. Thanks, Jumanji. Welcome to the bunghole. I just got dicked in the bunghole. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really like that. Now, where's the fucking popcorn? But anyway, ridiculous. And there's a scene where he's trying to teach Karen Gillian's character to learn how to flirt, and it's just so fucking cringe-inducing. Dwayne Johnson's character, he's a nerdy guy in a muscle body, and it's the same performance he did in Central Intelligence, and he was much better in that film, and that's a much better movie than this. Kevin Hart is annoying as always, and he's an asshole who kills one of his friends. He takes one of his lives on purpose, because he's an asshole. Nick Jonas, yeah, one of the Jonas brothers is in this, basically playing Mutt Williams in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which that film gets a metric ton of shit from people. That's better than this movie. A lot better. And I don't care what kind of shit I get from people for saying that. That has Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, even an older Indiana Jones, is better than anybody in this movie. Better than The Rock, better than Jack Black, better than Kevin Hart, better than Karen Gillian, better than anybody. So you have Dwayne Johnson, who is continuing his string of just cringe-inducing performances where he's just playing a dork. He played kind of a dork in Baywatch, but kind of a dude bro dork. Here he's just a regular dork. Jack Black is just annoying, and I don't get why people are giving him praise for this performance. It's not that hard to act like a stereotypical teenage girl who's like spoiled and pretty. It's not that anybody can do that. Like, oh my god, I mean that's easy to do. Come on. What am I gonna give him a cookie? You want a golf clap, Jack Black? Huh? You want a nice little, nice job, Jack. You did a performance that anybody could fucking do, an amateur hour and an improv show. Karen Gillian, she was like the only actress that was kind of not minding, but then she totally embarrasses herself when she does that. Basically, does her best Kristen Wiig impression. When Kristen Wiig is trying to be all nerdy and flirting with people, it's cringe-inducing when you see her do that shit in the Ghostbusters reboot, because it was basically like that all over again. Remember the whole stuff with Kevin and Kristen Wiig's character in Ghostbusters 2016, where she's all like, oh, and like awkwardly flirting with him? That shit is just repeated ad nauseum with Karen Gillian's character, where she just doesn't know how to flirt, and it's not funny. It's cringe. Is that what comedy is now? Cringe? Is that what I need to rename the genre of comedy to right now? Is just cringe? Oh, here's a cringe movie. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the cringe. And yeah, Kevin Hart's annoying as always. Nick Jonas doesn't offer anything. Bobby Cannavale as maybe it's Maybelline Man, offers nothing. He's just a fucking heir. And then that's it. That's really all you have for like the cast that's in the video game world. When you have the reality cast, they're just as bad. Alex Wolff as Spencer Gilpin. Just this guy is like some reject from Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel. You're just typical nerd. There's not much to this guy other than he's a nerd and he's a gamer and he's shy. Madison Iseman is Bethany Walker. She's just a typical popular pretty girl who would have died in the movie Heathers, but in this movie she survives and is supposed to learn some lesson, and I'm supposed to give a shit about what happens to her. Cedarius Blain plays Anthony the Fridge Johnson, who is this character who, because he became a jock, he no longer wants to hang out with his old friend Spencer because he's embarrassed, doesn't want to look like he's not cool. So he's being an asshole. Morgan Turner is this other girl who she has kind of a crush on Spencer, but they haven't really gone anywhere with it, and she's also kind of nerdy, so she's basically nerd number 2. And then Mason Guccione plays Alex Freak, who is a teenage boy who played the Jumanji video game. He's the one that gets sucked into the game in the first 5 minutes, which you don't see it at all. The film's so like, oh, first 5 minutes, you could show somebody get sucked into the video game world. No, we don't even show that. We just see like a shot from outside, and there's light that flashes from the window. And the guy, he's just like, oh, who plays board games anymore? Nobody plays board games. Board games are lame. He might as well have said that. He didn't say that, but he might as well have. And I'm like, this is 5 minutes in the movie, and basically the script has basically told me, hey, you know that board game that this entire franchise is built around? It sucks. It's all about the video games, man. It's just... talk about missing the point by a mile. I mean, wow. And Colin Hanks is also in this in a bit role as the adult Alex, who was like one of the best performances in the film. And he's in it for like a minute. And all these kids, they get detention together. And that's how they end up getting sucked into the video game. Yeah, it's like The Breakfast Club all over again, or Spider-Man Homecoming, or all these other teenage movies that try to imitate The Breakfast Club or try to be like some 80s movie. And it's like, the only time I've really seen that kind of work is Stranger Things. It didn't kind of work, it really did work. It doesn't work here. And the whole 90s stuff with the Alex guy, Like, they didn't even really attempt to really do that much with it in terms of jokes. And there's a serious scene where he's talking where he realizes that it's not the 90s anymore and he's been inside this video game for decades, and they play it off as just a bunch of fucking laughs. So they don't even let that even boil or let it simmer. They don't even let it do anything like that. It's just, so that's your cast. Not even a single person from the first movie is in any kind of cameo role at all in this. And then, so that's what I have to look forward to, is the cast. These characters I don't give a shit about. The film doesn't even make that much of an attempt to make me care about them. They're not interesting. They're not likable. They're just cliched characters. All their character is cliches. And if they were entertaining, or the actors were good, or they had good charisma, then maybe it might make it work, but it doesn't. It doesn't work. And then they get sucked into the video game, and then they're just as annoying, and they're just as unlikable, and I'm supposed to care about whether or not they live or die in this game, and it's a boring ass game where not a lot happens that's worth really anything. There's a helicopter chase near the end that I already forgot about because I've seen better helicopter chases in movies like First Blood Part 2, Firebirds, which a lot of people gave it the bird, but that's a much better movie than that. The Firebirds has some absolutely phenomenal dogfight scenes with helicopters. Nobody's talking about that movie, but we'll give this movie a pass and say it's a great action film. It's got some great action in it when its helicopter chase is like a minute or two. When you have a whole like multi-minute, like 5 minute long climactic helicopter dogfight chase and by Firebirds, which is through the canyons and everything, and is done with miniatures as well as real helicopters. It's a million times better than this CGI shit that looks like it's trying to rip off Independence Day when they're trying to fly through the canyons and stuff. But it's just my opinion. This whole video is just my opinion. The score by Henry Jackman, might as well be jack off. Just jack me off the wrong way. Like, it doesn't add anything to the movie. Might as well not even be there. Henry Jackman might as well have been just jacking off. And just the sound of his, of him jacking off, just wanking it, might as well have been what ended up in the score. Cinematography by Guayla Patos. There were some decent shots of the jungle. Okay, it actually was shot in the jungle at times, which was nice. But then it was also CGI. But then again, if it's supposed to be video game world, why does it look like a video game? Why does everything look like it's just a normal jungle? Why isn't there pixels? If it's supposed to be a video game circa 1996, why is this just like a normal, whatever, everyday world? Why aren't we seeing like somebody playing the game? And how does this even work? You get sucked into the game, and I guess the game itself just plays itself? It plays itself or something? Like the board game, there was nothing wrong with that idea. That's the thing that upsets me too, is the board game aspect of the plot has so much potential for a sequel, like more stuff, more new things to do, the chance. There's more chance involved, and more strategy, and more things that can happen, and more variety. And maybe in the video game there might be a decent amount of variety if they handled it better, but they didn't. So it's a shitty video game movie, it's a shitty Jumanji film, and it's a shitty film, period. The editing by Mark Helfrich and Steve Edwards, And it's like 119 minutes, and it's extremely slow paced because there's no thrills, because I don't care. I don't give a shit. I do not care. I'd rather get my dick bitten off by a bunch of rabid squirrels than sit through this movie again. I'd rather have a hippo sit on me for 2 hours than watch Jumanji Welcome to the Bunghole. Like, this is easily one of the worst films, and I know I've said that, but I'm going to repeat it because I feel like I'm alone on this. I know a friend of mine hates this movie as much as I do, but I know a lot of people are just like, yeah, this is great. I love this movie. To each their own. To each their own. I don't understand, and I don't really know what else to say. I got nothing else to say about the movie. I'm all ranted out. Positives? What positives? The biggest positive is when the movie was over. And I didn't have to sit through it anymore. I didn't have to feel like I had jumped into a pit of razor blades. The pain had finally ended. But anyway, yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing except if you haven't seen the film, I don't recommend it. I don't even recommend you seeing this for free. I definitely don't recommend you wasting a Redbox rental on this or seeing this in the theater, giving Sony any more money, supporting this half-assed bullshit. I'll just stick with the first movie. Okay, that's the only Jumanji I ever wanted, and that's the only Jumanji that I honestly give a shit about. Like, this had potential, but it wasted it. It bungled it. Total bungle. Total fuck up. This movie was just ready to bungle and ready to bumble through the jungle and ready to just fuck me in the bunghole. Anyway, I don't know what else to say except thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you guys later. See ya.